Thank you very much for all. Uh, I would first like to thank Air Marshal Bhushan Gokhale sir, Mangal Murthy sir, Shashi Mahajan sir, and Deshpande sir, and obviously all the veterans and the students who came on this Saturday to attend this lecture, which can be a bit boring, but please be with me. There's a lot of interesting insights you will get. And obviously, I would like to thank IMCC and CAS for organizing this. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So we'll first dive into Balochistan. So as Gokhale sir has already introduced what Balochistan is all about. So Balochistan is a province of Pakistan, but it is much more than that as well. So we'll first get into the history, just to give you a bit of background about Balochistan. So Balochistan, where did Baloch or Balochistan came into being? Now, as there are various researchers and scholars who have provided various insights about the Balochistan. Nothing is concrete, but a accepted norm is that Baloch as a people originated somewhere between today at present Turkey and Azerbaijan. So this is the region where they have hello. Okay, so this is the region from where they have originated actually. Yeah. Oh, okay. No issues. I'll be here for the moment. So this is the region from where they originated, and after that they, hello, yeah, and after that they basically transversed through other regions. From here towards Iran and the current day Pakistan. Now, if you see, Baloch is not an ethnicity as such. So there is nobody can say that I'm a pure Baloch. Baloch is a mixed race, and that has been accepted by the Baloch themselves, that they are a mixture of Arabs, Iranian, Turks, even Indians. And how Indians are a part of them, you will come to know as we go ahead. Now, Baloch, they are a very free-loving people. They're a bit nomadic as well. So they consider, you want to live a life in free manner. So they've always been subjugated by various empires during that time, such as Medes, Achaemenids, Sassanids, Huns, Parthians. Even Firdausi have stated that in Shahnameh that they've been trying to be annihilated. Somehow they're survivors, and they survived and still surviving. And that is the beauty about the community. Now, Baloch, when we say that there is no existence of Balochistan, but Balochistan have existed. And these are some of the documents which are stated in various maps, not by us, but by Europeans themselves, Russians themselves. There's a Dutch map. You can see this region, Makran. Makran is the coastal belt of the province of Balochistan. This is the Russian map. You can see here, there is the land of Balochistan over here, this part. Very well stated over here, US map. Now, once, the Iranians pushed them, basically, after the advent of Islam, when Islam was at its peak and it was invading countries. It invaded Iran. When they invaded the current day Balochistan, they found that Baloch are living there. And this was during the time of Umar Caliph. Originally, obviously, they were now they are mostly Sunni Muslims. But before then that, because they were part of the Iranian civilization, so they mostly followed Zoroastrian religion. Now, this is a very important slide. During 12th and 17th centuries, a lot of development happened in the Baloch society. There was a political awakening. They found their consciousness. They found that we need to come together as a political unit. And basically, Baloch as a lingua franca became the language of the region. The system developed where there were sardars, there was then sub-clans, sub-tribes, the whole hierarchy was established. There were even council of elders, which kind of worked like kind of like a democracy, where they were consulted, with various important decisions, war, peace, taxation, other things as well, judiciary. So there were all these things were developed. 17th century, the most important period for Baloch as a political unit, or Balochistan as a political unit. So at this time, the Mughal Empire was disintegrating. Even the Safavid Empire was disintegrating in Iran. And what happened is, Bruhi tribes came together in 1666 and developed Khanate of Kalat. Khanate of Kalat is nothing but like a state of Kalat, basically, which they developed. And it is basically also reflected as a Balochistan as a state entity. So that is also reflected. And the main emperor of this Khanate of Kalat was Mir Nasir Khan I, who was basically the most important ruler of that of the Baloch political unit. And he basically made sure that the boundaries of Balochistan extended towards Afghanistan and Iran. So you're seeing now the boundaries going towards Afghanistan, in the north, and even transgressing inside Iran. Okay, so as I said, various developments happened. There was appointment of prime ministers. External affairs were happened because they were having relations with Afghanistan, Iran. Even obviously they were once also vassals of the Mughals, but that changed as well. External affairs, law and order, irrigation system was developed because it's a very sparse land, and the water is also not the water is also not that much available. So they need to develop special karizis for themselves. Taxation system was developed. They introduced even their own currency. Okay, so the advent of the great game. This is extremely important period. So until now we are in, say, 17th century, then the 18th, 19th century also came in. Britishers, by this time, so I'll just give you a bit brief as well as to what happened, between these 100 years. So obviously, as an empire grows, obviously there's sometime happens that, not all the rulers are that great. And the same happened with Balochistan as well. The rulers which came in after Mir Nasir Khan I weren't that strong, to have that kind of stability, unity. So some of the Baloch who were present in the Iranian part, they challenged the Khanate of Kalat, and they wanted to have their own autonomy. And same goes with some of the other vassals which were there in Balochistan itself. So I'll just, for all the audiences, this is the complete map of Balochistan as of, if we can say, Baloch nation. The part which is disintegrating, the yellow line, green line, black line, red line towards the left, this is the Iranian part of Balochistan. The one which you see on the right hand side is the Pakistan Balochistan. And the dark brown portion which you see over here, that is the Balochistan which is present in Iran. So Balochistan is basically divided into 3 countries at the moment. So as I was saying, that so basically there were a lot of disunity which was happening in the vassal states, and Britishers were there in the subcontinent. Balochistan was also kind of part of the subcontinent, and they looked for the opportunity. And why this region is very critical and important for them during that time. Consider yourself during that time. Now, Britishers were here, and their mode of communication is the Indo-European telegraphic line, which is their main communication line to West Europe or UK, we can say. Now, this line transgresses to this region, and Baloch, as their nature is, they are not obedient servants. They have their free will. They are the masters of their own will. So they attack these lines. And that time, the Britishers thought, we need to play the same policy which we do, divide and rule, which they did. So, and otherwise also, Baloch were not that kind of strong as their neighbors. So, consideration of Iran or Afghanistan, Baloch were not that strong as a nation. So what the Britishers did, they divided Balochistan into various parts. The current part of Sistan Balochistan, which is on the left, was given to Iran, which is still with Iran. In Afghanistan, certain districts were taken in and absorbed in the current Pakistan, which are basically the Pashtun belt in the north, and some of the parts were given to Afghanistan. This was all done by the Britishers for their own purposes. Okay, so 1839. This is very critical moment for the Baloch history, because it was in this treaty when the Khan of Kala basically became a vassal to the British. On 4th August 1947, it was decided between British, Pakistan and Kalat officials that Kalat state will be independent and will enjoy the same status as held in 1838. Now please remember, Britishers are agreeing that they will become independent. But read the next para. Further, a standstill agreement was reached between state of Kalat and Pakistan. Why? When the first para itself is sufficient that they're independent, why the requirement for second para? Here comes the British connivity or sharpness or whatever you want to call it. Britishers understood that this region of Balochistan, this geographical location, is extremely important for their interests. And because Pakistan is being created for their interests, therefore they need to have this depth of Balochistan transgressing towards Iran, towards Afghanistan, to make sure that they are secured, their interests are secured much later, even after they leave this subcontinent, even today. Now think from that angle. We are going back to 80 years, and now still these interests are playing. So what they decided, they said that some of the things such as foreign, okay, I think that's in another slide. I'll just go ahead. Yeah, 11th August 1947. That is also the Independence Day of Balochistan, by the way. So much before India and Pakistan, Balochistan got independent. They declared it, but just in 9 months, all the independence was lost. So 11th August 1947, a standstill agreement was reached between Kalat and Pakistan, wherein Pakistan recognized Kalat as an independent sovereign state. They recognized it, but they also made sure that the foreign affairs, the defense, everything will be handled by Pakistan. And why did they want it? Because Britishers told them, make sure that Balochistan doesn't go out of their hand. And just in 9 months, on 27 March 1948, Pakistan charged over Balochistan and took out and basically made sure that they signed the instrument of accession by force, and which they did, and it is documented very clearly. Okay, this is the 20th century map of Balochistan. So as you see, British India is stated over here. The part in the grey is British Balochistan. These were the parts that was divided between the Balochistan itself. So the darker parts are British Balochistan, which is directly controlled by the British because of the Indo-European telegraphic line that was passing through it. And these are the regions, and these are the other regions which were controlled by the princely states by that time. Okay, so how was India looking at this whole event? Obviously, India was just beside it. It was almost part of the whole thing. So how was India looking? So when I said that there were two vassal states basically earlier as well, that which were not really completely agreeing to the Khan of Kalat, and there were two chiefs, Lasbela and Kharan. So they acceded to Pakistan on 17th March 1948 itself. Now it is very clearly documented in the British documents itself that these are vassal states and they cannot do anything without the permission of Khan of Kalat. But they did, and Pakistan accepted it. So when all of this happened, there was an announcement at All India Radio that Khanate of Kalat has sent an emissary to negotiate with India because they understood that Pakistan can capture us. But on 30th March 1948, Nehru expressed an error in reporting and regretted it. So we also need to understand that why PM Nehru did this. PM Nehru was of the understanding that we don't need to have borders which we are not in direct contact with. So we do not want a situation like of East and West Pakistan. We want continuous borders with direct land contact. We do not want such things. And this could be a tactic because of the Hyderabad, with because what Pakistan was playing with Hyderabad, this could have been one of the tactics which they played. But again, lot of things are not known. Geography of Balochistan. So Balochistan, as Kokle sir has already mentioned, is almost 50% of Pakistan. Huge landmass. The area is mostly arid to semi-arid, and it is divided mostly. It's mostly mountainous, very less plains and deserts. Water sources, as I said, are extremely low, mostly dependent on rainfall or the irrigation system. Till now, even though they have a lot of rivers, but they are mostly seasonal and a bit of dependent on Iran and a bit of an Indus as well. But again, water is extremely scarce, and that is also one of the, and it's agricultural, mostly dependent on agriculture. So you can see the condition how it will be. They're an extremely downtrodden and poor community overall. So these are some of the rivers which are located in Balochistan. Dams of Balochistan. Natural resources. I'm sure you must have all heard about the recent rumblings by Pakistan, Trump over the critical minerals and other things. Balochistan is has abundant natural resources. Some sources say there are trillions of dollars of natural resources. Gold, iron, copper, you name it, they almost have it. Uh, Iron ores, natural gas, huge natural gas. They discovered natural gas back in 1952. That was the Sui natural gas fields that was there, and and the the bad part is most of these natural gas that is located, that Balochistan doesn't really utilize it. They don't even get it. They cook their foods on wood or some kind of other things, but they don't have this natural gas. Most of this is transported to Sindh, Punjab. There are two main mines which are there in Balochistan. One is Ricodik. Ricodik is owned by Barrick Gold, a Canadian company. It's valued around 7 billion and located in Chagai. Chagai is towards Iran, if you can remember that. So obviously, it's a big mine, huge potential. There was a big legal case was there, which got settled by Pakistan, and they said that okay, fine, you can have the mine completely, and they did some kind of arrangement. Most of the funds from that goes again to Barrick. Same, there's another mine known as Sendak, which is controlled completely by Chinese. So earlier the royalty of Balochistan was very less, hardly 1%, and this mine is dates really old, going from 90s and even earlier. But again, it was completely with Pakistan, with China. But now the royalty is a bit increased to 6.5%. Earlier it was just 1%. Some of the natural resources in Balochistan, and you can see where all they are located. So if you see here, so here is Sendak and here is Ricodik. So, and this is the Chagai region, which is kind of like a district of Balochistan. Seaports, another important natural resource for Balochistan. Balochistan has extensive seaports, and this is going back to centuries. One which I think most of you must have heard is Gwadar, but other than Gwadar, there are also other ports such as Umrara, then Ormara, then Jiwani, then Gadani. All of these are very important. These are very traditional ports. Mostly it was fishing ports. Now there are various news which are coming in, which says that Chinese are interested in Gwadar. Chinese are otherwise also operating in Gwadar. It's controlled by them. So if you see, Gwadar is here, Jiwani is here, and this from this part it's all Iran. So you see where and if you go towards the other side, it's going towards Karachi, Sindh, and India. So you see how big is the coastline? Almost 750 kilometers. Yeah. So I was saying that Chinese are controlling Gwadar completely. They are taking the operations, overall. But there have been some reports there where they said that Chinese want Gwadar as their naval facility as well, while Baloch contend that no, it is the Jiwani which they want as the naval facility. So again, these are some of the discrepancies, but Chinese are very much interested. Tribes of Balochistan. So Baloch as a region is basically divided into three main ethnicities, I would say. One is Baloch, which is basically divided to Baloch and Bravi, and Pashtuns. Pashtuns are again a very very important part and parcel of Balochistan. They are almost, I would say, 35% of the population, mostly located in the northern part of Balochistan because of their borders with Afghanistan. And as you remember, I have told earlier that some of the districts were taken in during the British time. So, and otherwise also because it's a bordering region, so people used to come and go as in, and some of the people are, from that part. Though most of the children over here, or most of the children is very strong, madam. Sorry, young boys and girls over here are are too young in colleges, but they've some of the actors which are from this part of the country and this part of Balochistan, and they were in India. So anybody knows Kader Khan? Yes. Okay, good. So Kader Khan was from Pishin, which is located in Balochistan. His family traveled during, during partition, or I think after partition, somewhere during that time. But he was born there. Then, Vivek Oberoi? His father was from this place. Another, I am not sure whether most of you, but I'm sure Gokhale sir and other veteran must have known. Rajkumar, the actor Rajkumar, he was from this part of the country. Yeah. So as I was saying that, the tribes have their own hierarchies as well. So tribe is basically, there's one Sardar who is the chief of the tribe. That's for Baloch. For Pashtuns, it's Maliks. So that is how their designation goes. So again, Baloch are divided into Sulemani Baloch and Makrani Baloch. Sulemani are the northern parts, other one in the north. The Makrani are in the coastal parts, and the one in the middle, they are Bravi, as I said. Okay, these are some of, again, there are a lot of, about the tribes and everything which are there in detail, but I'll not get into all the ones. But some of the major Baloch tribes are Mari, Bukti, Maksi, Donki, Mengal, Zehri, Raisani, Lehri, Kakkar, Shirani, Achakzai, Tarins. All of these figures will come in later slides. Who all are and why they are, when they're very interesting by the way. Okay, I'll not get into the details of each and every tribe. There are a lot of tribes. I've just mentioned a few, but I'll take you through some interesting parts. Some interesting tribes actually. Okay, Bukti. The person sitting over here, you can see his photo. His name is Sarfraz Bukti. He's the current CM of Balochistan. He's very close to the Pakistani army, almost airdropped by them to become the CM. Originally, he is also the chief of the Bukti tribe. Originally, he was not the chief of the Bukti tribe. His family was not the chieftains. He belonged to a Masuri Bukti. Again, there are various clans also which comes in, like Raheja, Masuri. Rahejas, you must have heard, a very common name in India as well. We share a lot of common surnames as well in that way. Masuri, Kalpars, Mundrani. These are all clans. So originally Raheja clan used to be the chieftains. Now the Masuri tribe, which from which Sarfaraz belong, he has come into picture because the original Buktis, the Nawab Akbar Khan Bukti and his family, they went all they went all fighting against the Pakistani army, and most are in exile or are being subjugated by the Pakistani army. So the second line of command over the Masuri tribe, the Masuri clan, they took in the reign and came into good offices with Pakistan, accepted them, and have become loyal to them. So that is why he has become the chief now. I'll just go through the slide. You can just have a look as such. These are the locations as well. So you'll understand where exactly are they located. Most of the populations are located. Gitchis. Very important, right? See, not as important as a tribe per se, but why it is an interest to us or to our august audience over here. So this tribe was not originally Baloch. If you remember in the first slide, I said that they are a bit of Indian as well. So how Baloch are Indian? So if you see this tribe, Gitchi tribe, their ancestors traveled from Lahore, Jamnagar, Jodhpur, Jaipur, Rajasthan towards that part of the country, got absorbed in the Baloch nation, and made this tribe. Now they are a Gitchi tribe, another important tribe. See their location. Then I'll ask you one thing. He was the ex-CM of Balochistan in 2018. Meos. Must have heard the name Meos anytime. Have you heard about Mewat region? So Mewat region of Rajasthan and Haryana, it is from there their ancestors went and found this tribe later on. Check their location. Where are they located? Lasi. Their ancestors were Rajputs. Again, traveled from this part, basically Sama, that's in Sindh and Rajasthan, and traveled towards Balochistan. Because it was very porous borders, people do travel very easily. That is, check the location. So most of the tribes which were, which had a bit of Indian heritage, they are all located in this part of the region, which is the Makran belt. Because it is easy to travel. If you go a bit there, if you go a bit towards eastwards, you'll go towards Sindh, Rajasthan. That is how people used to travel. Another important personality, but we'll get into him in a bit detail in the later slides. No, these are all Brahvi tribes. The when I said about Mr. Mengel, from there all the Brahvi tribes have started. Kakar is Pashtun tribe, and there's also Indian relation to Kakars as well, which I will dwell into later slide. Mr. Achakzai, another very important person in Balochistan, will dwell into him in further slides. Okay. Now coming towards politics of Balochistan. So, see, Balochistan has, you can say their fate is such bad that the electoral politics came to Balochistan 20 years late than the rest of the provinces of Pakistan. So, you can say the chief ministers or the state assemblies who they elected, they started electing the representatives in 1950s, Punjab, Sindh. But in Balochistan, it came in 1970s, and that lasted just for 9 months. And after that, it is just host of electables and selectables in Balochistan. From 1970 to now, 25 chief ministers, and only two were non-dynastic or non-feudal. So when I say non-dynastic, non-feudal means they had no connection with any kind of sardar or chief, or they were not extremely important people of their tribe. Simple persons, common man. So as far as the 2024 Balochistan provincial election, the two key parties which won were Pakistan People Party and Pakistan Muslim League N. Pakistan People Party is basically the party which is run by Mr. Bhutto's family, and Pakistan Muslim League is Nawaz Sharif's family. So in Balochistan, the political parties are divided into various categories. These are federalists, religious parties, and ethnic nationalists. Federalists are parties which are directly, runs through center. Basically, it's their deployment over there. So PPP, PMLN, BAP, which is a newly created party. Again, same people, just a different political party, and PTI. Religious parties are JUIF, JI, and ethnic national parties. These are all the ethnic national parties. Among them, the most important is Balochistan National Party, Mengal. Mr. Mengal, if I have referred earlier on this side, that's his party. Then you have ANP, which is mostly in the Pashtun areas. There is also a party known as Hazara Democratic Party, which is the only party by the Hazaras. Hazaras is a community which is basically Shia. Most of the Balochistan is Sunni. They are the only Shia population which is there. Then you have Pakhtunkhwa Milli Awami Party. Pakhtunkhwa Milli Awami Party is by Mr. Achakzai. It is his party. Then recently a party has come into picture known as Hagdo Tehreek. This particular party came into picture like we have Anna Andolan over here, if you remember, some time back. There was Anna Andolan in Delhi. This party kind of like has a similar thing, but again, very interesting man. He is actually from JI, Maulana himself, but he transitions into these that Hagdo Tehreek is give me my rights. So, and he made sure that this became political movement, and he became the corporator right now. And his ambition is basically, and now he's actually become the MLA also. So he's the MPA right now. Again, very dubious character at times. Few things good, few things bad, but okay. Okay, so as I said, most of the elections in Balochistan is basically about electables. So army elects as to who will govern the province this time, mostly. If they are not electable, then they are mostly neutrals who Pakistani army tries to run or tries to make sure that okay, we'll try, you can govern, but we will help you or we will guide you as to how to go about. A prime example was that of BAP, Baluchistan Awami Party. Now, this party emerged out of nowhere. In 2018, this party was formed by some of the descendants of PPP and PMLN. They got separated. They formed this party. Party won the election, and just in one term, party lost. Extremely bad. And the same people who created this party went again back to PPP and PMLN and won. A very clear-cut example. So, in the current Balochistan assembly, 50% of all the members are Sardar or Maliks. So, when I say Sardar Malik, basically they're chief of the tribes. So, you can see a quite kind of very feudal structure, and this is not the structure. It's like that people have chosen. People have there. If you see, Sorry, if you see the political parties over here, National Party, which is a common man's party, they have even won. So the people have chosen these parties as well, and they have come to the fore. They've governed, but and even BNP Mengal, again, it's a chieftain's party, but mostly neutral, I would say. But none of them are able to take the mantle forward because there's a lot of interference by Pakistani army. Coming to demography, so the current population of Pakistan, Balochistan is about 14.89 million. Other than these, the main ethnicities which I said, Baloch, Brahvi, and Pashtuns, there are also Sindhis, Saraikis, and Punjabis. Saraikis are, some might, say something mean to me, but Saraikis are very similar to Punjabis. They are the people who live in South Punjab. Uh, then there are other nationalities such as Afghans, Bengalis, Chinese. There are around 314 Chinese who are living in Balochistan, and they're working on various projects and possibly could be doing some business as well. So, with respect to mother tongue or the census, basically the Baloch and Brahvi takes the majority, makes about 57%. The next are the Pashtuns or Pashto people. They take about the 34%, and the rest basically Sindhis and others. Male female demography almost 50-50%, slightly less. Okay. If you recollect, as I've said that most of Balochistan is Sunni, but there is also an interesting minority which lives over there, that is known as Zikris. Now, Zikris, they follow a different type of Islam where basically they don't go to Hajj to Makkah. For their Hajj, they go to Koh Murad, which is located in Balochistan itself. It is their pilgrimage site, and they don't go to Makkah at all. Uh, they have faced immense pressure by Pakistani clerics. I will say Pakistani clerics per se, not Baloch clerics. Mostly Punjabis, Sindhis, you can say. Mostly Punjabis, I will say. That they are basically kafirs, and they are like Ahmadis, and they need to be subjugated, or they need to be converted, or basically they are not Islam. They are not Islamic or Muslim. Vis-a-vis Baloch, they have extreme kind of syncretism with Zikris. An example of that can be in one family there can be a father and a son who is a Baloch and a Zikri living together, no issues. A husband and wife, Baloch and a Zikri, no issues at all, and they don't have any issues. Zikris also support have provided immense support to Baloch insurgency as well, and this is also one of the reasons that the fundamentalist forces in Pakistan and the army try to harass them as and when possible. But Baloch society overall protects them. There are also Hindus, Christians, and Hazaras who are there in Balochistan. And when I say Hindus, I also include Sikhs as well. There's a small Sikh population also. There's a lot of Gurdwaras there, which have been located, in that part of the region. There's also, interestingly, there's also Gurdwara, which is a Sikh temple, which is in Iran. Again, that's in Sistan, Balochistan. That place is known as Zahedan, because again it's part of the same region. But now the population has dwindled a lot. They still are there. Most of the Hindus are there are basically Sindhis. They speak Sindhi, but they also speak other languages as well. Tribal feuds. When a society has a lot of tribal structure, or like in our case, our caste structure, there are a lot of infighting which happen, and same goes here. There are a lot of tribal feuds which happen off and on, and still happens actually. And when they say fight, it doesn't mean a simple fight. It means that if somebody has killed from some other tribe, then the revenge will not be completed until the other tribe person is killed. and it happens even now. But a lot of times, main big tribal figures come into picture, try to sort their issues out, and which have successfully happened. But these fights or infighting continues even till today. If you remember, I talked about Bukti. So Raheja and Masuri. Masuri is Sarfraz Bukti's tribe. Raheja is Nawab Akbar Khan Bukti's tribe. So they had a lot of infighting, and this happened. Though Mengals also, they also had some issues with other people, so it continues to happen. Again, there are a lot of political scores also which is being settled through these, so it continues to happen. Society, mostly traditional, conservative, a bit patriarchal. But an interesting factor which has happened is the Makran belt. Makran belt, which is the coastal belt, has always been a bit modern, pragmatic, educated, and most of there's a societal led leadership which is happening in Balochistan, that is known as Baloch Council, and that is led by women itself. It is led by Dr. Samidin Baloch, Dr. Maharang Baloch. So they are all educated doctors, professionals who are leading this movement for their rights. And they're basically present in almost all parts of the country, but Makran, especially the coastal part, is extremely educated. And one of the prime reasons for that is that it didn't really have that kind of strong Sardari system or chieftain system or feudal structure as it was in the northern parts. So this is also one big factor. So these are some of the rituals or things which are there. This is like if somebody cannot get married, then tribe comes into picture, help them for the marriage. Happens in our country as well at times. Hashar, this is like a very old system where you work, will give you food, barter system kind of a thing. Common food practice basically, which basically is like food for the complete village or something happening like me, but not everyday affair, but happens often. Divan system, basically, village elders getting together. I'm sure this used to happen in Pune also sometime back and other parts of the country, but now much less in mostly in drying rooms now. Mayar. So this is a system of basically, as I said, if somebody basically honor. If you destroy my honor, then I will have to take a revenge or something. So this is kind of a thing. Hospitality, refuge. Basically, if somebody comes for hospitality or refuge, you have to give it. Very old kind of system, so still there, still following the same rules, and they're very proud about it, which is also good because when a person is traditional, also it happens. So the seeds are very strong. Then it also reflects in the character of the person, and this is personally which I've seen. Again, kind of a revenge kind of a thing which happened. She was some TikTok star. The brother didn't like it, killed him, killed it for the honor kind of thing. Again, marriage, common kind of a thing which happens like common marriage. If the people are poor, there is some folklore. I think that we can leave it. It's okay. Okay, geopolitics of Balochistan. Again, Balochistan as a location, as a geography, is extremely important. Not for the countries which are surrounding it or bordering, but also for countries which are far away, such as China and US. So Iran shares border with Balochistan, and it has a kind of love-hate relationship with Pakistan. Initially, Iran used to support Pakistan a bit during Shah's times. I'm sure people must have heard what's happening in Iran these days. But I think that all changed. In '73, actually, there was an insurgency which happened in Balochistan, wherein Iran helped Pakistan to give all kinds of helicopters, gunships, and other things, and to suppress the rebellion. Because Iran also had a similar problem in its own region of Sistan Balochistan. So if one region erupts, another region also can erupt. Though the parameters are different, the thought process of both the places are different, and even the ideology and methodology are very different. But still, this can happen. But what happened is with the Iranian Revolution, the Islamic regime, Shia regime came into Iran, and that changed a lot of dynamics. Pakistan is a Sunni majority country, Iran is a Shia majority country, and both of, and especially Pakistan, it was during these times of 90s and when a lot of radicalization was also increasing. Pakistan started, helping a lot of groups such as LEJ and others to attack Iran, and it also supported groups such as Jaish-ul-Adl or Ansarul Furqan, which is against the Iranian establishment. Similarly, what happened is Iran also tried to support, the Baloch groups which are against Pakistan, such as BLA, BLF, and provided them sanctuaries. Recently, both the countries bombed each other's Baloch areas just to make even square, because they thought that okay, this is the Baloch regions, these are the Baloch group which are located in Pakistan, we need to bomb them. And just a day after, Pakistan did the same. So they settled this scores. The people who died and hurt were basically Baloch, and otherwise Pakistan and Iran, things go normal just a day after. Recently, there was a news that, which was, if you remember, some few days back, there were a lot of tensions happening in Iran, and there was kind of a lot of protests happening. There was news that a lot of people are being killed by the Iranian state. Just some days ago, there was a news that a lot of phones, cellular mobiles, then Wi-Fi's, Starlink material, other things, being captured by the Iranian state, and they said that a neighboring state has facilitated this. Now, obviously, which is the neighboring state which can help, in all these matters? Obviously, Pakistan. Afghanistan. Afghanistan and Pakistan also had a very tense relationship. Even with Taliban regime came into power, though they initially thought that things would be okay, but the issue still remains the same. They don't accept the Durand line, which is there, borders between the countries, because they feel that the British have divided it. We don't agree. We don't believe. Second is the TTP and PTM. TTP again is Pakistani version of Taliban, and PTM is a ground roots movement of Pashtuns. So they have a lot of banter against each other since the Taliban have come in. There's a lot of fighting which has happened across in the border areas. They've shelled each other, they've killed each other. So this continues to happen. There's a trade current, I think, if I'm not wrong. Currently, there's a trade restriction which is going on by Afghans against Pakistani goods. So this continues to happen. As you remember, I said there was a good Baloch population in Afghanistan itself. So they are located in good numbers. Initially, during the Soviet times, Afghanistan used to support Baloch insurgency, and even 1990s or 2000s, there were a lot of sanctuaries given to Baloch insurgents. But that has come down now. There is no support structure remaining. When Taliban came in, there was a lot of tension among the Baloch and the diaspora that now, because Pakistan is there and Pakistan will tell Afghans or Taliban that you need to hunt them or you need to kill these insurgents. So there was a lot of tension. But somehow Baloch Afghans are pragmatic. Even Taliban is extremely pragmatic, as we are seeing these days. They didn't did anything to Baloch, and that was a very very big relaxation. I think that goes to that pragmatism that, see, Pakistan is a newly created state, but our relations with Baloch have been there for hundreds of years, possibly more. So that relation is important. And Balochas, here in Balochistan, Pashtuns are also there in Balochistan. So that kind of thing needs to be there as a relation. China. So it's a, as everybody knows, it's mostly a, master servant relationship with Pakistan and China is having. There's a huge corridor which is there, which is the China-Pakistan economic corridor is there. China invested a lot in Gwadar, but most of the benefits are going towards Chinese itself. I'll just give you some examples. So out of the 21 projects, energy projects, only 2 are happening in Balochistan. There is no optic fiber in Balochistan. Out of the 24 infrastructure projects, only 6 are happening in Balochistan. Special economic zone, out of 9, only 1. And if you see, 91% of the profit from Gwadar port will go to Chinese companies and only 9% will go to Pakistan. CPEC network, railway network. Also, because of the Chinese, abating and helping Pakistanis, Baloch are heavily against the basically the Chinese occupation, and they have attacked a lot on Chinese. The consulate has been attacked. Chinese engineers are attacked. The Pearl Continent Hotel, the BLA attacked PSC, which is the Pakistani Stock Exchange. It is majority owned by Chinese. So there have been a lot of attacks against them, and you can see the timelines as well. In January 2026, Pakistan and China have decided to open a joint specialized security units to protect Chinese investments and Chinese nationals. US have always supported Pakistan since its creation days, and they have even subjugated any kind of Baloch insurgency rebellion, and they have even provided monetary help at it. Recently, they have said that they will commit $1.25 billion of financing in Recodec, even in machinery with worth $2 billion. Americans are keenly interested in critical minerals in Balochistan, and I'll show you a recent photo. So this is Asim Munir with Trump, Nawaz Sharif, giving a glimpse of the minerals from Balochistan. He's kind of their marketing salesman. Americans have also designated BLA and Majid Brigade as a terrorist organization. Insurgency. So there have been several rounds of insurgency in Balochistan, starting from 1948, going down to fifth insurgency, which is happening currently. There are various insurgents groups in Balochistan. BRA, BLA, UBA, LEB, BLF, BRG, and BLA Bashir Zub group. Out of all of these, BLA Bashir Zub group and BLF are the ones which are the most strong and lethal and fighting against the Pakistan, or basically taking the mantle. There is also an umbrella of organization which they have created known as BRAS. Now, BRAS is basically a convergence of BLF, BLA Bashir Zeb, BRG, and SRA. SRA is Sindh Revolutionary Army. This is also a group which is functioning, but it's mostly located for Sindh and border regions. There was a group known as BNA as well, but it has now gone defunct, almost defunct. The group, basically one of the main members of the group was arrested by Pakistan, and the group then fragmented into 3 parts now. We'll not get into much of the details, it's other complex things. It's a very nice story, but for other time. Okay, some of the activities of these armed groups. As I said, BLA, 40% increase, 521 attacks. Sorry. BLF, 49%, 581 attacks. BRAS, again, it's an umbrella group, 174 attacks. For this, again, these are the trend increases, you can see. and this is by other groups. Okay, coming to the leaders. Akhtar Bengal is a very important leader. His father was the first CM of Balochistan. He's the head of the Bengal tribe. He's considered to be neutral. He always said that okay, by politics we can help and shape Baloch society, and we can try to be the bridge between the army and the society. But again, there have been attacks on him as well. Even a suicide attack has happened recently. Ramdak Bukti, he is the grandson of Nawab Akbar Bukti, who started the insurgency and was killed in 2006. After which the insurgency really skyrocketed and still is happening. He is staying in Switzerland at the moment. He has applied for asylum in India but was rejected for various reasons. Hervé Mari, he is said to be alleged leader of BLA. So BLA is divided into two groups. Bashir Zeb is different. That's run by another, but this group is different. This is the main group. He's said to be the leader of Free Balochistan movement. It's a political organization. He was also part of the main insurgency, the fifth insurgency which happened. Dr. Naseem Baloch, he is the political head of BNM, which is the biggest political party of Balochistan in exile. Khan of Kalat, he is the descendants of the Khanate of Kalat. Mahmud Khan Achakzai, if you remember, I talked about the Pashtun chief. He is the head of the Achakzai tribe and a very important face of Pashtun Balochistan. Mama Khadir Baloch, he's said to be the Gandhi of Balochistan. He even traveled to India and met a lot of Baloch in India. He said to be following the principles of Mahatma Gandhi, towards its for fighting towards its rights. Naila Qadri Baloch, one of the important women faces of Balochistan. She's currently living in Canada. There are some tension between Baloch groups and her candidature, but she has visited India a couple of times and plays important roles now and then, especially with some of the smaller European parties, and she's in exile currently in Canada. Baloch leaders in India. There are no Baloch leaders in India. Should Baloch be given asylum in India? Think. Military inculcate. So, as far as 2019, Pakistani army is $100 billion and growing in business. Why army needs to do business? That's not army's job, right? Army needs to serve and protect. But in Pakistan, that's not the case. Army governs everything. From fertilizers to conflicts, they are into everything. And they are involved in road making, desalination plants, logistics companies, petroleum. Main water and energy structure of Pakistan, WAPDA, like we have our MSAB and other organizations, the distribution, electricity and energy distribution, WAPDA is controlled by army directly. Economy. Balochistan economy is in doldrums. Hardly 3%, it's just 3% of the economy. And it's basically because it's agriculture state, lack of water, lack of resources. Can you see this picture? If you can see a lot of bikes with jerry cans, donkeys with some of the holders, cars on all these muddy and mountainous roads. What are they doing? They are taking illegal goods across the borders from going to Iran and coming from Iran to Balochistan, oil and other things. Pakistan economy runs mostly on illegal goods, 71%. Balochistan's economy. Iranian oil trade is lifeline of 50% of the Baloch belt. 50%. And not just oil. Oil is the major one, which is around $1 billion. $1 billion. To remember the figure. But there are other items such as fertilizers, cement, sugar, wheat, cooking oil, confectionery items, tea, cigarettes, gudka, cloth, gold, everything almost. Even human trafficking is one of the main corridors of this region. Drugs, human trafficking, fuel, vehicles. This map depicts the various points from where the illegal trade happens. Human right violations. So when we talk about Balochistan, since the time of its occupation till now, lakhs of people have been killed, disappeared. There have been enforced disappearances. Pakistan used to have a policy in Balochistan, still has kill and dump. A lot of mass graveyards have been discovered in various parts of Balochistan. It's a vast area. You kill, you dump, and after possibly many tens, 110s or 20 years, you will find skeletons. And that actually happened once, not just once, a couple of times actually. Skeletons were found, and there was a huge, ruckus as to what is this happening. One of the main big organization, human rights, said that 47,000 Baloch are missing. This is an old number. Numbers could be really big high. And these are the recorded at least. Unofficial could be much, much high. So, talking about the affected regions, as of this year, 1455 people, 1,455 people are missing or detained. And I'll also give you some other numbers which I've just recently got because this year's report is still coming in. So enforced disappearances for this year, as I said, is 1355 or 1455. Extrajudicial killings 197 or 200. Torture survivors released 407. You can just look at the numbers. And these are the official ones. Unofficials could be more. So as I said, mass graves have been found. If you see in 2011, 1,000 dead bodies have been found in north, central, and southern Balochistan. You can see the CM of Balochistan. Can you see a bearded person just besides him? This person's name is Shafiq Mengal. Mr. Shafiq Mengal is currently the leading death squad member, kind of militia. He's also the central IS figure, Islamic State figure in Balochistan. And he is the one who is basically trying to hunt and kill Baloch now and then. He's basically Pakistani Army's main pet, gunda, whatever you want to say, in Balochistan. So not just okay, this is important. Balochistan government has confirmed just in 2025, 78,000 intelligence-based military operations were carried out and 700 militants were killed. So other than this extrajudicial, there are also legal ways by which army punishes common Baloch. Recently, there have been this this amendment which just came in, Balochistan Prevention, Detention, Re-radicalization Laws. Under this, any person, if army has a doubt on any person, he can be picked up without charge for 3 months and can be detained. His property, his documents, anything, whatever he is, can be seized by the relevant authorities over there for 3 months without charge. Person, you don't know where the person is now. Okay, 25th January. If you can, do tweet or do something about this. 25th January, tomorrow, is Baloch Genocide Remembrance Day. And when we talk about genocide doesn't mean just killing people. And as Mir Muhammad Ali Taqi, an extremely learned scholar and philosopher from Balochistan, says that it's about genocide, about culture. education, resources, history, much more. Do remember this date. Now coming to the final aspects. Bhukti Marathas. Bhushan sir has already said a lot about Bhukti Marathas. I'll just give some of the anecdotes. So when it was uh, Abdali who actually came in and fought war in Panipat, why POWs were taken by the Baloch? Because if you remember, Afghans, Baloch held Afghans as well as vassals at times and supported them in their, war and other things as, support. Because for various reasons, for money, for, neighbor, being a good neighbor or something, there's a various interests. So it is said that, Mir Nuri Nasir Khan helped Abdali in his incursion. And in lieu of that, Abdali provided all these POWs to the Baloch. That is how the Bhukti Marathas landed in Balochistan. Otherwise, they would have been gone to Afghanistan. So again, they are segregated in various tribes, but Bhukti Maratha came to relevance because there was a Maratha agitation happened in 2016 for the rights, and because of that, the Bhukti Marathas over there, they also protested for the rights to be given to Marathas over in India. Marathas of Balochistan. Okay, so the first reference were found in Tigers of Balochistan in the book which was published 1939, and in 1992 Nawab Akbar Khan Bukti, which we talked about earlier as well, he liberated Bukti Marathas from slavery. So until 1992 they were mostly working as slaves in Balochistan, but since then they have also transgressed themselves, liberated themselves and have become vaderas or landlords. They have good connections with Sarfar. I'll just show you the main. So this is the population of Bukti Marathas. They're mostly in Dera Bukti. Dera Bukti is towards the eastern part of Balochistan, and Sui. There's also he's the leader of Maratha. So they are known as Marhatas in Balochistan, not Marathas. Marhatas. So Maratha Qawmi Ittihad Pakistan is the largest organization of Maratha community in Balochistan, and the chief is Vadera Deen Muhammad Maratha Bukti. He has close connections with Sarfraz Bukti for various reasons, because in order to survive and in order to liberate themselves to live, in a normal conditions, they need to be in close contact with the politics happening in Balochistan and also with the army. And this was said to be by one of the Bukti members of that tribe. Baloch in India. As sir have already stated, there is a good Baloch community which is in India, and they're in various parts of the country. So their history is again very interesting. They've come during the Mughal rule, but again, story is not one. It's various different stories, as anybody is. They came in transits during the Mughal rule. They lived in UP. They're still living in UP, Haryana. In Rajasthan, I have a record which says that they are there since 500 plus years, because the borders were porous. In Sindh also, a lot of Baloch dynasties ruled, like Talpurs. So Mir Muhammad Ali Talpur, the philosopher and the educationist, he was the scion of that tribe, the scion of that dynasty, the Talpur dynasty, and they used to rule Sindh. So it was a porous border. People used to come and go. So a lot of Baloch in Rajasthan and Gujarat were employed by the royals for their various services like mercenaries and bodyguards and otherwise. So this is Mama Kadir Baloch, which I talked about, Gandia Balochistan. He came to India, and this is a village in Uttar Pradesh known as Bilochpura, where he met a lot of Baloch over there, and he talked about what's happening over there. He was facilitated in very well. He came for a medical stuff. Interestingly, there have been various Pashtun kings or Nawabs in India, or Pathan we can say, but there haven't been many Baloch. One which I could trace is Faujdar Khan. He became a Nawab of Farrukhnagar in Haryana, and this is the Farrukhnagar fort. This basically it was named after Farrukh Siyar, the Mughal emperor. Mir Chakar Khan Rind, a very important figure in the Baloch history. He's considered their most important pillar, and his tomb is in Punjab. One of the expeditions he died over there. Okay, Maharashtra. Your old Mumbai Pune highway that is made by Baloch. So whenever you next time travel over there, do remember. Bhagnari, Hindu Baloch community located in Dadar, Mumbai itself. Gujarat. Gujarat is the most well-off place. Most well-off Baloch are located in India. They are landlords, and even they were like Thakurs and landlords, and even MLAs. They've even become MLAs over there. Jaipur. If you remember, I talked about Pashtuns. There's a Kakar. There was some kind of relevance. So there are Hindu Kakars as well, which are in Jaipur, and they are located over there. They came after the partition. In Delhi also, so Baloch are still coming in India. I know as latest as just 4-5 years back, who Baloch have come in and settled in India. They're mostly Hindus. They come in for various reasons. Persecution is one at times, also for business and other opportunities. Things are really bad over there. So family members, some are staying here, some are still staying over there. It happens. Future ahead for Balochistan. So as you see, I have not said anything over here. There's just shades of grey. And this is my last slide. Sorry. And this is the last very important slide. It's blank. Future is, various shades of grey. Why? Because with Pakistani army coming at the helm, and now things are really going bad because Pakistani army now not just controls the judiciary because of the latest amendment, it also controls the politics and is now being controlled by the CDF, the Chief of Defence Forces, which is something which no other person has achieved in Pakistan till now. He has most powers. He can do whatever he wants. So there is no escape for Baloch now in Balochistan. Judiciary at least was there to help them, but things are really going bleak from here. Obviously, Westerners are not interested, to support Balochistan for various obvious reasons. A prime example of how your support base can go from 10 to 0 is if you read about Kurds in Syria, what's happening these days. Kurd, which was the main supporter of America during its ISIS, war, have now been left high and dry at the hands of Al-Shara regime. Al-Shara, as many know, was ex-Al-Qaeda member, now the president of Syria, who wants to govern the whole of Syria, and Kurds are negotiating hard with him for their autonomy, which they had, for tens of years now. But now the things are difficult for them. So West at times can support you, but their support can go just like this if they want. Because now the Kurds are no more important for them, so things can go really bad. So what happens to the future of Balochistan, to the Baloch cause, is basically just left to them. And if there are some other countries who can support them for their interests or for moral interests, it's up to the country. Could be India, could be not, I don't know, but it's basically Baloch up to themselves. Thank you.